Hello, everybody, and welcome to Blue Jays Today, where you boys always have something to say about the Toronto Blue Jays. I'm your host, Nicholas Playlog.
And I'm your host, Adam Peddle. And guys, we made it. It's now time for free agency news, rumors, trade rumors, because the Blue Jays, we know we're going to be in the mix in a lot of these free agency rumors and trade rumors, because we got to get a competitive team back on the field. So in this one, guys, we've already got some Blue Jays moves that have happened with the Blue Jays management, and as well, we got to look at what we're going to do about these qualifying offers with the Blue Jays. Before we do, guys, hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, and let's get into it.
Dude, listen, I know that playoffs are supposed to be the exciting time. They're supposed to be the time that everybody's tuning in and everybody's watching. But when your team's not in it, man, it's kind of the worst time. Like, I'm so happy that we're out of that month, because that month is dead month. You know, at least right now, at least today, there was some actionable Toronto Blue Jays news and rumors and just stuff that we can digest and talk about.
Big shout out to the OGs that are coming here, are continuously supporting the boys on this channel, because you guys saw, we're trying to find the news for all you guys, all the trade predictions, all the news and rumors, but today was the first time where I found 3 pieces of actual things that happened.
Dude, the news found us today. And the news that did find us was actually it was very welcome. We've been talking on this channel for a long time about the hitting coaches, about whomsoever is involved with the game plan and what we are doing at the dish. Those guys, they need to be reworked, and that is what transpired today for the Toronto Blue Jays. Dave Hudgens, you may know him because he was tweeting out ridiculous nonsense 3 minutes before a ball game in the regular season. That was a thing that actually happened, but he is the assistant hitting coach.
He's the hitting strategist.
The hitting strategist, excuse me. The hitting strategist is Dave Hudgens, but not anymore. He has now been reassigned within the organization. Can I get a hell yeah, please?
Let's go.
In the comments.
Let's go. This hopefully, guys, is the first of many, folks, because Dave Hudgens, I think we are all kind of getting on him, especially after that tweet, that whole fiasco, tweeting literally right before the game, and people were kind of commenting, well, he's already got a strategy, in play, and I'm like, doesn't matter, you got to be there with your team. It doesn't matter, man. So you move on from this guy, but what is such a Toronto Blue Jay way of doing this, right? You don't fire him. You're just you know what? Hey, you know what, buddy? You tried. Well, we're gonna move you to this other area.
Yeah, so you
janitor.
You can mess that up.
Yeah,
right. No, and it's also a Toronto Blue Jays thing as well to not even go after Guillermo Martinez.
No.
The head honcho when it comes to hitting. And again, right, we're looking from the outside in. So it's very easy to just grab the torches, grab the pitchforks, and say, hey, you're the guy, so it must be your fault.
Right.
Maybe Dave Hudgens, maybe he played a bigger role that we're just not familiar with. Maybe that hitting strategist thing, that was a big part of the Toronto Blue Jays struggles, right?
It could very well be.
It could, and maybe potentially reassigning him somewhere else and bringing someone else in that will hopefully make some changes to how they approach at the dish.
Hopefully some sort of more weight given to someone who's actually been doing it. Look, Guillermo Martinez, let's all remember, guys, he was with the team in 2022, 2021, when the offense was very good.
Sure.
Right? And so I don't know if it was this year, if Dave Hudgens stepped up in this strategist role and employed a new plan, guys, we really need to be hitting the ball the other way with less power. I don't know who said that, or if it was him or someone else, but either way, I think it would be him. And I'm glad that we're kind of just making a move. Now, do you think Guillermo Martinez is on the chopping block next for the Blue Jays?
You know what? The fact that they've done this already, typically you're not going to get rid of the second in command and then get rid of the top guy. You do it the other way around. So I feel like by seeing this right now, Guillermo Martinez is probably locked in for the role that he is in right now, unless they decide to bring in some outside talent and then Guillermo Martinez takes over Dave Hudgens' old role. I could see a reality where that happens.
It could very well be, right? We don't know the kind of relationship that Martinez has with the players. If he's more hands-on in the cages or a strategist kind of wise.
Yes.
But in the reverse scenario, maybe you keep Guillermo Martinez in his current role as the hitting coach, and you bring in a new strategist with another team that has a better philosophy to fit this team's strengths.
Well, I like what Eric Truden said, and shout out to Eric Truden, man.
Yes.
He is. He's over there with the Jays Journal. He's doing some incredible work right there. But he said that the changes to the hashtag Blue Jays Big League coaching staff are beginning. And I like that he said beginning right there, because that kind of implies that this is the start of more things to come, you know? And I do think that this is going to be an ongoing process, right? When you look at the Toronto Blue Jays, when you look at that team, it's not like a one player or a one coach or a one change fixes everything. There was a lot of problems with that squad that need to be addressed in this offseason. So this needs to be the beginning of a plethora of mentality shifts and changes within the organization and within the player personnel.
Yeah, you saw, if you watched a recent podcast, guys, you guys saw, we pulled up that ISO chart, and that was disgusting. A lot of the players just dropped off in ISO, and that doesn't happen by mistake. There has to be someone at the top making those calls, just like you saw someone at the top potentially making those calls with the whole Jose Barrios situation. So I think, yes, I agree. This is the beginning of some good moves. Maybe you see some changes on other areas of the Blue Jays coaching staff that we're not, privy to. So, and hopefully we bring some dudes in, because there is some holes with Luis Rivera gone now at third base. So you could see some guys coming in helping out this team soon.
That is very true, man. So look out for Toronto Blue Jays looking at some new coaching talent. Now, I love that you brought up ISO, because that's a great transition to the next piece of news that we want to talk about here. Matt Chapman, one of the dudes who suffered the most, in a drop from power this past season, right? And just a drop in overall hitting, I think you can say for Matt Chapman, right? Incredible month of April, and then just down the drain the rest of the year. Now the Toronto Blue Jays are faced with the decision to offer him a qualifying offer or not, and they have until November 6th, because it's always 5 days after the end of the World Series, so November 6th, to decide whether or not they're going to give this guy a qualifying offer, which is $20.5 million this season. That is a lot of money. $20.5 million.
It is a lot of money. And, if you were to ask me, $20.5 million for Matt Chapman coming into this season, the one we just had, right? Like you saw Matt Chapman his first year with Toronto. I'd be like, okay, you know what? Maybe I'd offer him a qualifying offer. Let's see if he's got one more chance at him. We've got the money. We're Toronto. We can make it happen. For me now, I think you just got to save the money and try to get a draft pick, because somebody is going to be out there wanting Matt Chapman. He is the hottest third baseman on the market. And honestly, you look at a lot of articles, he is one of the top players on the free agency market, because I think everyone who's kind of like us thinking, well, he's got a great glove, he's got upside, he showed it before, like maybe he could find his new way with the new team and be a staple at third base, which he very well could be. However, right, I don't think that we're necessarily easily going to accept the qualifying offer. So if we offer it to him, he's not going to accept, knowing that fact that everyone's going to want him. So I think we just let him go, get our draft pick capital, and move on, man.
Yeah, and I mean, just to really break down what you just said there, right? It's like Toronto Blue Jays, they offer him the qualifying offer. He says no, because he knows that there's no real other third baseman available on the market. So he knows that I'm going to get paid more than $20.5 million over the course of whatever contract I do sign. And Toronto Blue Jays, they are lucky enough that they get a draft pick on top of that. So that's how all of that would work. And I do think that breaking it down like that would be great. Honestly, the worst thing that I would want to see happen here is that he offer to him and he just says yes. Because I think if you're the Toronto Blue Jays, right, it's like if he just says yes, you want to give Orelvis Martinez a shot. You want to give Addison Barger a shot, so you got to factor that in, right? There is the potential risk. Whenever you offer somebody anything, they could say yes. I don't think that he will, but I think if you're the Blue Jays, you probably do not want him to say yes.
Well, let me ask you this. How would you feel, you offer him, he accepts it, he's here for one more year, $20.5 million. Yeah, he's got the good defense. We know exactly what his bat's going to be. How would you feel knowing that we're paying him $20.5, and that's taking a big chunk out of our spending change this offseason?
Yeah, I mean, I think that that's too much money for Matt Chapman. I would be happy with the stability, because you know what you're going to get over there. But let's face it, am I happy with what I'm getting? I'm happy with the defensive side of things, but the hitting side of things needs to improve. And that was the biggest problem with these Toronto Blue Jays. Even though I said at the top of this video, there was tons of problems, the biggest one was the hitting. So for that amount of money, for what Matt Chapman is offering, absolutely not. I would not be content with that. Now, I will say, if he did accept it and he is on this one-year deal, and you look at the Toronto Blue Jays prospects, that would then make for a prime trade away candidate, which you would then have the entire rest of the offseason to do. You could say to any other team, it's like, well, we got him at 20.5. It's like, you need a third baseman. what can we work out right now? So I could see that reality happening if he did say yes.
Yeah, and you could also make a little bit of argument, maybe, okay, if he this is, again, he's never going to accept it, but let's play Fantasyland, everybody. Like, if he does accept it, okay, well, then you got 1 year of Matt Chapman, maybe, and you bring up Elvis Martinez and maybe an Addison Barger to be underneath him to kind of learn, pick his brain while he's here. And hey, while we're on the topic of hitting coaches, maybe the new hitting strategist comes in and really changes Matt Chapman around. I'm playing this game.
No.
I already knew I was going to try to convince myself, but that's what you could try and sell yourself on, the idea of like, okay, if he does accept it, well, yeah, sure, it's $20.5 million, but I'm sure we're going to be spending more than that this offseason, and we will have a third baseman.
Well, I mean, I do think you make a good point about the hitting coach, because at one point in his career, Matt Chapman was really good at baseball. And even though he's always been known as being an incredible defensive guy, there was a 2-year stretch there in Oakland, right?
Yeah.
In not a hitter's friendly ballpark at all. One of the hardest ballparks to hit in, where he was popping off consistently.
Exactly.
So you know that there's something in that player. It just needs to be brought out. Maybe Dave Hudgens, maybe Guillermo Martinez, we're not the guys to do so.
No, maybe not. On the note of qualifying offers, there is another J that is eligible to get a qualifying offer, and that is Kevin Kiermaier. $20.5 million though is quite a lot.
It's not going to fly, man. I mean, because Kevin Kiermaier, let's face it, you offer $20.5 million to Kevin Kiermaier, he would be crazy not to accept.
He would be crazy.
I do imagine that he's going to get a contract, a 2 or 3 year contract with some other team. But if you could get $20.5 million in 1 year for Kevin Kiermaier, you absolutely smash it. And I think for the Toronto Blue Jays, you cannot be giving up what would effectively be like half to maybe a third to half of what you want to spend this offseason to one player who's going to have a 700 OPS at best next year?
700 OPS maybe, and you got injury history there. He's getting older. Yeah, I wouldn't be spending the money.
Time for a quick shout out to Betway. Betway is the best place to make all of your sports bets on all of your favorite teams. Betway is also in collaboration with iGaming Ontario. Must be 19 years older to participate. And guys, please bet responsibly. Now, back to the content.
To wrap it up, guys who will not be eligible are Hyunjin Ryu, Brandon Belt, and as well Jordan Hicks for various reasons. So they're going to be going into the free agency pool. So I think what the Blue Jays do, like we said, you offer Matty Ice that qualifying offer, he denies, and you be happy with that draft pick.
Assuming everything goes the way that we're talking about. Talking about guys that are leaving the Toronto Blue Jays, we did just want to bring up this absolute legend, phenomenal human being, Jay Jackson. He is now going to he's officially hit free agency, excuse me. He deserves to be on another MLB team. And I mean, shout out to Jay Jackson, because I saw him on, and this is outside of just baseball, but I saw him on several like independent podcasts.
Yes, he was
always talking to the media. He was always responding to people. This is the type of player who comes from humble beginnings. This is the type of player that you just want to have on your team, because you know that he's a team player. He will do whatever. If you tell him, hey Jay, like today, it will help the team the most if you get the water and bring the Gatorade over. He would be he would be so happy to even just do that, right? So I mean, shout out to Jay Jackson for being absolutely phenomenal. We've talked about it before, but we are going to have a few bullpen holes to fill.
Yeah, honestly, I want to offer Jay Jackson another deal. I mean, he's going to go explore his options, because a lot of people are going to be looking at that 2.12 ERA in 25 games. The whip under 1. He was really good, and he kind of fell into Toronto as that like flex bullpen option. So I think through his experience with us and knowing that we do have a lot of bullpen guys, he's going to continue to be in that role. He wants a bigger role, and I think he deserves that. So he's 36. He's going to go and try to get paid 1 year. Jay Jackson, I've been following you on Instagram, dude. You're an absolute awesome guy. Great mindset. I love seeing what you have. He got sent down a couple times, and like I saw his like one Instagram post where he was like talking about like his mindset, like being humble and like being grateful for the opportunities as he's flying away from being sent back. And I was like, man, like that hurts, but he has a strong mind, and he deserves some good payday.
Absolutely, dude. Shout out to Jay Jackson. Folks, let us know your thoughts in the comments down below about everything that we talked about today, guys. Matty Ice, the hitting coaches, all the holes that we have got to fill up. We want to hear what you have to say down below.
Yeah, and $3 a month to become a Patreon member, guys. Shout out, thank you to all of our current Patreon members. You're awesome. And our YouTube members, you guys are also awesome.
Thank you so much for watching.
And go Jays, go!